Good morning. My name is Nathan Kabongo, and I am very honored to have the opportunity to deliver this speech to our school's proud parents, faculty, staff, and students. The past 4 years at the school have shifted my personal nature in a way that couldn't have been achieved somewhere else. Before my first moment of attendance, I wasn't so sure about what demographic I would come across when I first entered the building. Since it was located on the Upper West Side, I assumed that it would be an all-white school. Then I took the long journey up the building steps, and when I went through those black doors, I was met with a culture shock. So many people from different backgrounds, and a good number of people who share my story. Kids like me with an African-American background, whose parents sacrificed in order for them to graduate in American schools. Kids who understood how important this success was to their families. I felt good about not having to hide who I was. I was excited about the fact that I could proudly boast myself and my history while also learning in a healthy environment. However, as a freshman, I might have been overwhelmed by this. I wanted to strictly meet new people and hang out. I didn't take academics too seriously. I neglected the education that the school was trying to offer me. I let myself fall behind. But when I asked my friends how they did for their first years, they all seemed to have better grades than me. Then I realized that I was going to have to learn how to appreciate and practice balance. I could no longer be passive about my future. I could hold on to friends and be comforted by the fact that they would always be there. But I couldn't do the same for each semester or even each day. I had to capitalize on each day and strive to have an academic life that was as successful as my social life. I had to find a comfortable balance. Finding balance made my high school experience a lot better because I could explore without any worries or constraints. I was able to keep my grades up fairly well for the next 2 years. Then senior year came and I felt like I didn't figure anything out. Like I only took a couple steps along my tightrope. It seemed like the only outcome that I got from our education was opposing opinions and ideas. I would go to one class and discuss the faults of technology, government, and power structures as a whole, and how happy life would be if all these things were to vanish, perhaps by revolution. Then in another class, I would discuss the importance of voting, learning about governmental systems, and the power of political reform. Then I would go on to learn about why math and science are the most significant aspects of our lives. Each subject posed itself as the most important, each subject worthy of digging deeper into. But now, it was time for me to shape my future and figure out a path, but I couldn't choose. I had so many roads in front of me. I spent so much time staying up on my academics because it was right for my future. But at the end of it all, I wasn't so sure about my future beyond high school. It was like an illusion of choice. And I know that there are people listening who aren't so sure about their future either, who are anxious, worried, or lost because this isn't the time when we could just live fully in the present. I want you to know that you must prioritize yourself and your feelings just as much as you prioritize whatever else is important to you. Balance is very important for moving across the tightrope we all walk. Balance is the only way to be fulfilled, to feel like you aren't missing out on something else in life. Always make sure that you get a positive feeling from whatever you're doing. Always ask yourself, am I happy or constantly distracted? Always remember that balance is happiness. In order to make sure I landed on the more positive end, I took initiative. I didn't want to lean too much on one side. I left my phone and social media alone for short stretches. I brought friends along with me when I went to go practice Wim Hof in Central Park. We talked about what we thought was negatively impacting our moods and what new tactics we could use to improve them. We all pushed each other to spend time engaging in our favorite hobbies. We uplifted each other in our personal selves. I encourage all of you to find that balance within yourselves and to help those you care for find theirs. I am grateful for meeting you all and spending great times with you this past 4 years. Thank you and congratulations. As you move forward, I hope that you continue to find your balance.
Good afternoon. To all of the teachers and staff of Manhattan Science High School, to all of the parents and family and friends watching, and to the class of 2020, my name is Amber Guzman, and I will not start off this speech with a lie. The countless times I envisioned myself giving this speech, I never expected it to be virtually. I never expected to deliver a lasting message to close the chapter of our teenage and high school years by recording myself, or at least attempting to do multiple retakes. In 2016, when I walked my very first steps in Hunter's hallways, I never expected to create such impactful memories. I never expected to walk in the cafeteria in the morning and shamefully spill out a reckless pile of quarters and dimes as the security guard playfully shakes her head at me, telling her oops, even though I already set off the walking metal detector. I never expected to weekly climb up 5 flights of red stairs, huffing and puffing on each floor before finally seeing Hunter's black double doors and rainbow painted ceilings. I never expected to rush in the opposite direction I was heading in and desperately squeeze on a pair of black shorts over my blue jeans, even though Miss T already spotted me out of uniform and gave me an all too familiar look with just her eyes. I never expected to sit and eat lunch at a round circle table with some of the funniest and most controversial girls I've ever met, debating about the ethics of being pro-choice and pro-life, but also about Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, laughing hard enough to make my cheeks ache and yelling loud enough to receive a warning or two. I never expected to walk down Mr. Gallardo's music room and cross my fingers hoping that the contraption my physics partner and I built out of straws and tape kept our baby egg safe. But I also never expected to laugh and make fun of the yellow yolks splattered across the tarp being inspected by Mr. Perm. I never expected to jump out of my seat at the sound of the bell's ring, only to turn right back around and see Mr. McKay with his arms folded by the laptop cart and the wires sticking out every direction unimaginable. I never expected to run down these red 5 flights of stairs and eagerly search for the gym's scoreboard for both home games and Hunter games. I never expected to trade in these red stairs for crowded escalators and elevators, rebelliously riding boats to the Bobby, to play music in between classes to ease the stress of midterms and finals. I never expected to gradually grow this attached to the teachers, classmates, and outside mentors that have shaped the young woman I have become in these past 4 years. But I'm glad to have recognized how blessed I am to have the people I've leaned on for support become family to me by challenging me mentally, physically, and spiritually to expand beyond the scope of my capabilities. As we continue pushing onwards past this pandemic, into college, and on to adulthood, we have to remember that there is beauty in the moments of unexpectancy. Although they may cast shadows of doubt, anxiety, and fear, opportunity, experience, and wisdom outshines them all, and they always will. The opportunities we are granted, the experience we gain, and the wisdom we soak up makes us resilient individuals. In these past 4 years, let alone these past 4 months, we've proven our resilience by embracing each never. We've made meaningful memories and have become leading examples in the face of stacked up odds and adversities. So when we hear that we are the leaders of tomorrow, the leaders of the future, as cliche as this sounds, these statements hold both truth and honor. Class of 2020, as we continue to step onto unforeseen circumstances, I hope that we continue to evolve as people and maintain our strength. Thank you and congratulations.